All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, I need these things on. Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 23 of the BCR Technique Challenge, 30 days. So again, we're nearing the end of this 30-day challenge. How has this been for everybody? All right. 23 days now. You guys have been doing the BCR Technique. 23 days now. I've been seeing just so many people transforming their lives, seeing themselves, touching new ground, moving themselves into a brand new world. I'm just seeing it a lot more as I talk to you guys, as I see it on the Telegram group as well too. It's really amazing. It's wonderful. You guys have just kind of taken this ball and you've run with it. So it's a wonderful thing to see. So again, hello everybody. Welcome here on the chat here. And again, if you're new to this, if you're tuning into this for the very first time, just go to the video description and click on the BCR Technique 30-Day Challenge playlist. All right, you can start from the beginning and just allot yourself those 30 days. Give yourself 30 days as you explore these videos, do the BCR Technique for that 30-day time. Because after the 30-day challenge is completed, I'm going to be taking pretty much just a 1-week break, right? Because I've been doing this every single morning until about the 30-day period. And then we'll be moving on to a brand new series that's going to be coming on to New Earth Teachings YouTube channel, which will be called New Earth Practices. All right. So we'll be ending the 30 days here. So we are on day number 23 right now. So the last day will be October 10th. Right. I'm going to take a week off, right? Because I'm going to be doing sessions during that week as well too. And then on the 18th of October, I'll be starting the new series called New Earth Practices. And what this will be is that at 10 a.m. Pacific every morning from Monday to Thursday, I'll be coming in and just sharing some practices, some education, some information with you guys as well too, for about a half hour or so. And so I'm looking forward to that new series that's going to be coming forward. We're going to have a lot of new practices, we're going to have a lot of new education, we're going to have a lot of information coming through, just talking as spirit and just sharing a lot of incredible insight with everybody, right? And of course on Fridays, as always, will be New Earth TV Live at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. Okay, everybody, so let's go ahead and get started with day number 23, which is all about an introduction to life circles. Now, we're not really going to be spending too much time on this today. We're just going to kind of do an introduction. Tomorrow, we're going to get more into the meat and the potatoes of it, and just getting the idea about how it flows, the nature of the life circle. It is very, very similar to what we've been doing with the variants. Really, this is why we don't really need to go too deeply into it, because if you've already been doing your variant work, then this work will be very complementary to it as well too. It's not really that different from it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the whiteboard now, and we'll work with that. Okay, so the life circles. What is this all about? Well, again, as we looked into the idea of variance, okay, which just represents yourself in different versions of yourself, I should say different timelines. But remember that all time is memory. Okay, that's all time is. And really, we use a measurement of time, saying, oh, this happened 2 years ago, this happened 5 years ago, this happened 10 years ago. Oh, what if this happens next week? What if this happens next year? Right? We just have that illusionary measurement of time. But really, when we're looking at the nature of time, time exists within memory. And as we look into our own body, we have an Akashic field, or an information field, our true grand consciousness, right? And everything is stored within this field. So this is what we commonly refer to as our Akasha, our Akashic records in that way. So certain people are able to tap into themselves, look into other lifetimes as well. Yes, that can happen. But also being able to go deeply into their memory, accessing certain things within this body's lifetime, right? So all memory pertaining to time is stored here. So in that sense, from the day that you were born, from the time that you were in your mother's womb as well too, to the day that you die, right, is all stored here. It's already present, okay? But again, there's a lot of It's a lot of veils within your own energy field because there's certain things that you're not meant to know to keep the preservation of experience and causality alive, right? You really have to go beyond a body and a mind to understand these things. And to go beyond that requires a state of humility, okay? So yes, we have the ability to go into our akasha, to go into our information field, the collective consciousness, and look into every inch of what our life represents, right? It's all there. But like I said, if we're still very much attached to the body and the mind, you're not going to be able to see it, right? Because that is what governs the body and the mind. What governs the body and the mind, if we are in alignment with the body and the mind, then we stay within that governance. It's like a box, right? Here you are as a circle. And if we're just living as this body and mind circle, anything that we attempt to access will only be inside that box. It'll be inside that square. We haven't felt what it's like to be beyond that square, that box. So as long as we exist as a body and mind, there will only be a certain amount of information that will be shared with you. Okay, you cannot go beyond looking at that information if you're still confined to a body and mind principle. Okay, this is why we go into the non-dual. This is why we see ourselves as spirit. Okay, this again is going to be the next teaching when we get into New Earth practices. I'm going to be teaching you guys about something very, very special, and it's called the one state. Okay? I'm not going to go into it today because we're going to go into life circle here in a moment. But I just want to kind of give this idea to you guys so that you're getting a little bit more of a clue about, well, why can't I really look at my life in its entirety? Because you're attached to this. Because you're attached to this. You're attached to your body and you're attached to your mind. This is why we're doing the BCR technique, because BCR is helping you to move into your heart. As you move into your heart and as you live on the inside, you will be in alignment to live as spirit, right? So BCR doesn't take you there fully, but it's a stepping stone towards taking you there fully, okay? When we go through BCR, we then go through the one state, okay? The one state represents one consciousness, okay? We move into the one state. We are one consciousness. We are not conscious, subconscious, superconscious. We are not compartments. We are not departments, right? We're not dresser drawers, okay? We are one. We are the one consciousness, right? This is the essence of the non-dual, which I'll be sharing when we get into New Earth practices, right? The new morning show to come, a week after the 30-day challenge is completed. So this is what I want to share with you guys all together, right? So timelines, time, memory, all exists here. But you're only able to access bits and pieces of it because you are contained within a body-mind, okay? In order for you to see the entire big picture, you have to go beyond the body-mind and see that. And really, the funny thing is, you can do that. You can go beyond the body and mind, but to do that requires a great deal of humility, right? And when you're in that humble state, you really don't care to see your body as it is entirely, to see your life course out as it needs to, right? You're really just humble, and it really is not, there's no drive, there's no ambition, there's no desire. That's kind of the catch-22 with it, that you really don't have a drive to wanting to look at my entire life. Okay, I want to see what happens when I die, right? Some people know exactly how they're going to die, right? I pretty much have an idea of how it's going to happen for myself, but I don't try to put my finger on it because I don't try to obsess with it, right? So we just have that feeling. It's that moment that we just basically float beyond body and mind, and we're here in spirit, and we can see all these things that we want to see all together, right? Has nothing to do with channeling, has nothing to do with mediumship, because again, even that is still body and mind, okay? If we're working with any particular type of systematic approach, you're staying in the body and mind. You're not going beyond it. Systems cannot exist when you are with spirit, okay? Spirit is the totality. Spirit is the absolute, right? If we're working with channeling, we're working with mediumship, we're working with remote viewing, we're working with astrology, we're working with any of these particular systems. They're great, they're wonderful things, but they reside within the body-mind principle, right? You cannot truly see who you are in totality by using a system, okay? Even the BCR technique is a system, but it's just a system that's helping you to, again, go on that stepping stone, that from that point forward, BCR technique is not involved, right? You go into the one state, and the one state is not a technology. It's not a system. It's just the idea of being one, right? It's the idea of nature, right? So this represents nature, okay? This represents a technology, a system, and it's a powerful technology. It's a powerful system. It's a wonderful thing. It's just helping us to step forward, right? It's kind of like in that sense, in order for us to get across the other stream, we have to step on these rocks, right? And now we're on the last rock before we get to the other side of the stream. Well, that's what BCR technique is doing for you. It's showing you how to get to that last rock before you hop over and you get to the other side. And the other side is the one state. It is the non-dual. It is nature altogether, all right? So I just wanted to put that little notice there for you, just as we go into the next step. And again, because I get people asking that, I say, well, what about, how am I able to kind of look at my life entirely? How am I able to look at myself entirely? You got to get out of the body-mind, because the body-mind is not yourself. It's a compartment, right? When you're looking at the body, it's a vessel. It's not the true nature of you. When you're looking at the mind, it's a vessel. It's not the true you. The true you is spirit. The true you is the self. The true you is God, right? That's who you are. In order for you to understand yourself in totality, that's where you have to be, okay? Which means you have to leave the body and the mind behind, right? As I'm teaching you guys, you're learning that the body and the mind are tools. They are your servants, right? So they have no particular form of principality relating to yourself whatsoever. They are seen as tools. They are seen as servants. And so they are beneath you, right? That has to be your mentality. And now you see yourself as sovereign. Now you see yourself as spirit. Now you see yourself as God. Now you see yourself as the self, right? That's the non-dual. It's to have everything as one, not two, right? Okay, so anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into the life circle here. That's not a very good circle. Been doing a lot of drawing classes, so trying to make the circle a bit better. All right. So here's a circle. We got some dots along the line of the circle here. Okay, and this is representing your life circle. Now, as I said, I really don't want you guys to do this until you've worked with your variants a lot more. Okay, we want to work with variant extension healing first, right? And really getting some leeway on that. I would say tackle your major situations in your timeline first. Okay, so just as I talked about the other day, we have this timeline. You have markers here. 5, 6, 7. Okay, I would like you guys to take care of this first before you jump into this. Okay, work with your variants first. Just take care of your major timeline here. Okay, we can go much deeper into variants as well too, and I'd like you guys to still do that. But as long as you have completed this, okay, then you're good to go into here. Right? So we want to make sure our variant extensions are taken care of first. That is priority one. Right? So once that is done, you've gone into yourself as a newborn, young child, adolescent, teenager, young adult, married, divorced, present day, whatever it may be. Okay, those are the major conflicting issues within your timeline that you want to take care of. All right, we got to take care of that first. That's why I'm emphasizing this very, very strongly. So people say, "Oh, Brad, I just went ahead and jumped in my life circle. Did you take care of your variants?" Well, no, I just want to get your butt back to the variants again. That's what I'd say. Say, get your butt back to the variants. Take care of that. Take care of your timeline. Then go to the life circles. Okay, or life circle. That's where we want to focus on this first, and then jump on that second. Okay, so looking into the life circle. So what am I talking about with the life circle healing? Okay, so now we're going to look at people that have a major role to play. Okay, they are major players. We're not talking about minor players here. Okay? We're not interested in the minor roles. It's like a movie, right? Who is this starring, right? Of course, there's you. But who is it starring within your life? Your life is the movie. Okay? So besides you, who is it starring? Starring today, my mother. Right? She comes out, she takes a bow. Big applause for her. Good job. My father. Okay? My siblings. Yay, people are just applauding. There's whistling. There's people throwing handkerchiefs at the stage. These are rock stars, right? And you have your friends, your colleagues. Okay, just people who have major roles in your life. Okay? We're not interested in the minor players. Okay? They're not the ones that are getting the shining lights. They're not getting the spotlight shine upon them. Okay? You're not getting a person in a movie who delivered one line who's like the star of the whole show. Okay? You're getting the main actors. You're getting the cast. Okay? So the main cast, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your grandparents, your friends, your colleagues. Okay? This is what makes up the major life circle within your life. Okay? So tomorrow I'm going to be teaching you guys how to work with the BCR technique through a short demonstration, right? To work together with your family. But I'm going to go over it today, but we're going to demonstrate it tomorrow. Okay, so there'll be a BCR demo tomorrow about working together with your family. All right. So we're going to use an example today about who we're going to work with. Okay, we're going to pick our mother. Okay. So because she really is pretty much the most dominant person in your entire life. She gave birth to you. Okay. So she would really be the most dominant, the most prevalent person in your life. Really, it's the mother, right? The father sometimes, okay? The father didn't squeeze you out of a womb, okay? The father may or may not be there as well too, but the mother, she really plays a prominent role in your life, okay? Really does. So that's the person that we're going to focus on today, is your mom, okay? Because everybody has one, okay? Yes, we may have dads and stuff like that, but maybe they've come and gone. Maybe they left the scene. It's all depending, right? But the mother is there. She's the one that's carrying you. She's the one that's giving birth to you. She is the prominent figure in your life, all right? So as we do the BCR technique, right, we firstly do the check-in list as we have done before, right? So here's our notepad. So I just want you to look at what your mother means to you, okay? What challenges, okay? We're not going into the loving things because there's a lot of loving things that we can bring in later with the mother, but you're just writing down key points here about your mom. What challenges, what conflicts, what hardships, what forms of challenges have happened, right? Looking again at a timeline. Here you are present day. Here you are as a newborn baby. What do you recall about your mom in regards to these timelines, okay? If that feels too difficult for you, right, like I said, just write down this kind of summary about what you have gone through. You may not remember all the dates in that sense, and you don't have to, right? You say, okay, I remember I was a little kid, I was 5 years old, and I just felt my mom was being so mean to me. I just wanted to have a toy. She wouldn't give it to me. It was just a lot of fighting. There's a lot of infighting. I just remember that. I'd say probably around 4 to 6 years old. Okay, so there's one point there. Okay, so we have this little thing here. 4 to 6 years old, something about a squabbling of a toy. You were shouting. You were having a panic attack. You were sent to your room. Mom felt so mad. I was so mad at my mom, right? And that's what took place. Okay, so there's an event here from 4 to 6 years old, okay? And we just kind of go down the list, right? We just go down the list and say, okay, here's a situation here when I was 14, right? And I had a boyfriend, and she didn't like this boyfriend, and she told me to break up with this boyfriend, and you know, or a girlfriend, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend. I had this partner, and I was really into him, and my mom didn't like him or didn't like her, and told me to break up with him and saying that this is not good. And I had a big fight with her, and it was horrible. We had a really big conflict, and we were just yelling at each other. All right, so here's a 14-year-old timeline here that happened. And we just go down the list, okay? So even if you just get one timeline or one little marker here that you want to work with first, that's fine, okay? Work with that. But even before we go into the marker here, we just want to use our notepad and just give an idea of saying, how have things been with my mom, right? What conflicts have come together? So we're using this, okay, we're writing down these conflicts, and then we're working together with the timeline. So now we can sort this. I could label this as marker number 1, okay? And right here is marker number 1 with the 4 to 6 year old situation. Okay, there's marker number 1. Now here's marker number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay, so I have these 4 markers that I was able to say were the most intense conflicts regarding my mom. Okay, so then we have that timeline that reflects that. Here's marker number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and here I am today in present day. All right, so I'm going over this, right? So here's a number 1 marker, here's a number 2 marker, 3 marker, 4 marker through this. Okay, so I'm going into a paragraph detail about what those markers represent. So here is a time again when my toy was taken away. Here's a time again when I had that partner, the boyfriend, the girlfriend. My mom didn't like him or didn't like her and told me to break up, and there was a fight, right? Here's another thing in regards to money. Here's another thing in regards to my marriage or something like that, where my mom got involved and she was really angry and we had a bit of a falling out then, okay? So in this example, we have 4 direct markers that represents our connection with our mom pertaining to challenges, okay? So these are emotional hardships. These are traumas, right? So, and then we basically would go down the list and we'd say, okay, here's something with my dad. Here's something with my brother. Here's something with my sister. Here's something with my granddad. Here's something with my grandma, right? Here's something with my best friend. It's the key players only, okay? We're not interested in the minor players. If you had a boss that lasted for 2 weeks and maybe you had a bit of a falling out with them in that way, but it's something you were able to clear up shortly afterwards, don't worry about that. That's a minor issue. You're able to do a lot of cleaning up of it afterwards. It's very, very small. It's not to say that we're ignoring it, but we're putting it on the back burner. Okay. Whenever we have this minutia, as I call it, we have the minutia of smaller players in our life. We're not ignoring them. We just kind of see it there. Okay, that's fine. I see this little thing here with an old boss. We had a bit of a falling out in there in that way. But shortly after that time, I was able to do a lot of healing work with it. And so it may be there a little bit, but it's just something I want to put in the background for now, okay? I'm not concerned about it right now. It's going on the shelf, okay? So with minor players, if you're noticing that a memory is coming up with that, put it on the shelf. We're going to get to it later. We're not going to ignore it, but we're just putting it on the shelf right now. We want to focus on the key players of our life, okay? The mother being, I would say, the primary key player of your life, all right? So that's all we're doing, is we're just looking at our mom, we're looking at the conflict issues, we're looking at the emotional hardships, the traumas that we have experienced in regards to our mom, right? Once we have these things down in paragraph form, basically talking about each marker, we use the timeline scale, okay? And then we just put it down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, do we have an age, right? Like I said, okay, maybe 4 to 6 years old here. I was about 13, 14 here. I was about 19 here, I was 26 here, and here I am at the present day. And how are you feeling presently with your mom, right? That would be the last marker. How are things between you and your mother today, okay? That would be marker number 5, for example, in this example here. How are things with the two of you today? Okay, maybe my mom has passed away. But before she left, I had a really great discussion with her. We mended everything felt great, and I can still feel her around me. Great. So that's giving you an update regarding the present marker, right? How are things presently between you and your mom after you've gone through all of these markers relating to her, okay? So that's all we're doing. So now we're basically just filing these things, okay? Here's something for my mom, I'm putting it aside. I'm waiting for tomorrow for the demonstration, okay? Here's something with my dad. I got all this information here. Okay, I got the timeline done. Great, I'm putting that aside. Here's something with my older brother. I got this done, got my timeline here. Great, put it aside. Here's something with my sister, okay? Got the information done. I got the timeline done, put it aside. That's what we're doing. Okay, here's something with my BF or my GF. Okay, my boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, that's something else. There's a major player there, right? So we're filling out the milestones, we're creating the timeline, putting it aside. Okay, the major players of your life. That's what's important. Once we got all that down, Great. Now you guys will be able to get ready to observe the demonstration. Now, as I said, with the demonstration of the life circle, it is very, very similar to what we've been doing with the variance. Okay, there's really no difference here. No difference with that. Okay, so again, yes, we're still going through breath work, going through the breath, moving into calmness. Okay, we should know about the calmness by now. The two phases of calmness, what are they? Active calmness, subtle calmness. Okay, then we go into reinforcement. Okay, so as we go into the reinforcement space, what are we doing? We're accumulating love energy, right? We're putting that in where we have a space that reflects our heart. Okay, it is not superficial, it is not artificial, it is not eye candy. This is your heart space. Okay, so we fill ourselves up, right? We're using the gauge. We're filling ourselves up. What is it on a scale of 0 to 10? It's a 10 out of 10, right? Some of you may already know how to detect when your body, when your heart is filled with that love energy, okay? So the love energy is full. So once we do that, just like we have the variant, okay, we look to our left or we look to our right, and there's someone within our life circle. Okay, there's our mom. Okay, so we look to our left, we look to our right. Which way does she come in? Does she come to the left? Does she come into the right? Okay, if I look left, here she is. Right, so here's my mom. And all she's doing is standing still, just like the variant. Okay, and all we're doing is we're going up to her and we're filling her with love, just like we did with the variant. Okay, so there really isn't that much of a difference. Now again, this is working with another person, okay? So all we're here to do is we're not really depositing them back in the timeline. This is the difference, okay? With your own variant, you're able to deposit them back into your memory timeline. We're not doing that with our major player here, okay? So we're filling them with love, okay? And here's the thing. We just have to feel like we are still at that 10 out of 10 once we feel the variant, I wouldn't say the variant, but the major player's body filled up with love, okay? So we may create a 10 out of 10 in regards to the love energy that we have put into that person. So what we are doing here is what we are convincing ourselves that our mother is filled with the 10 out of 10 energy. Now, in physical reality, she may not be. Okay, so what you're doing is you're creating the probable body. So your version of your mother in your reinforcement space, once you put that love energy, you're feeling her smile. You're feeling her being happy, okay? That's your probable version of your mom. And that's all we're doing here. So we're filling her up with this love energy. We're tapping into her and saying, how does this probable version of your mother feel, right? I wouldn't call her a variant because that's representing your own self, right? Your own personality. But she's representing the probable body here, right? She's the major player, okay? So how is your major player feeling when you're putting all of this love energy in there? Is she on your level? Is she right here? Okay, you're right here. Is she right here? Does this hologram that represent your mother feel like she's right here with that love? You're embracing her, you're hugging her, you're telling her you love her, you're putting all that love energy into her, and you're giving her that smile. You're bringing in your love energy entity. They're helping you. You have your loved ones here in your space. They're helping you, just like with the variant, okay? And you're filling that version of your mother up to a 10 out of 10 on the scale, okay? So it's a probable body. Because here's the important thing. We're not healing our mother, okay? The mother is not being healed. Okay? Rather, we are healing our relationship with mom. Okay? This is our healing. Okay? This is not healing for your mother. So this is what you're doing. Now, she may feel those effects of a probable body, and that's great, but you're making peace with your mom here, okay? Like I said, you're not here to forgive anybody. right? When you're looking at the major players, you're filling them with love so that you feel completely at peace with what they represent, which means the emotion, the trauma, the heavy challenges that were contained inside yourself are being melted away because you are transforming how you see this person. Okay? You're not forgiving them in any way. All you're doing is you're just bringing them love, right? Here you are filled with love. Here they are down here. You're lifting them up, just up here, so that it's 10 out of 10 on the scale. And you're creating that probable body that signifies that pure love energy that's coming into them. Okay? So that's a 10 out of 10 for them. They're now meeting you at Mount Olympus. Okay? So that's the probable body. Like I said, you may look at your mom and say, oh, my mom's such a grouch. She's grouchy and she's just so conceited and she's stubborn and she's just bullheaded. And well, that's not the mom we're seeing here. Okay? That's the reason why you have your trauma. That's the reason why you have those emotional hardships, because you've chosen to see your mom that way. Yeah, but Brad, that's how she is. That's your perspective of her. That's your perception of her. And that's what you're looking to clear away. You're clearing away that animosity, right? It's like when we look at variances of ourselves, okay? There's some of our variants who are very stubborn, pig-headed, bullheaded in that way. We've certainly had that through our life. But we've been able to bring those variants together within our space and fill them up. Oh yeah, Brad, that's just because it's me. Well, your mom's you too. Your dad's you too. Your brother, your sister are you too, right? You are attracting these type of people into your life because this is how you've seen yourself. But now that you're moving yourself into the higher heart space, seeing yourself 10 out of 10 with the love energy, you are now moving into such a lightness. You are high on love. And all you're doing is you're sharing that love with a probable body of your mother. Okay? She's your hologram. So you're making that holographic mother how you wish to see your mother. Okay? How do you want to see her? Remember, as I talked about with the mental body, as I talked about with belief systems, that all you have to do is say, yes, it's possible, and then this will work, right? It's possible that I can now see myself in absent of this belief system so that it will come about. Well, that's what you're doing with your mom. That's what you're doing with your dad, your brother, your sister, your major player. Okay? You are seeing the possibility of them actually being happy. You're seeing the possibility of them actually being joyful. You're seeing the possibility of them actually being compassionate. Is it possible? Of course. Well, that's what you're putting yourself into. That's the probable body that you're making into a certain body for yourself. Because after you're done that, your mom, again, just vanishes. You're not putting her back into a timeline, okay? She's finished, and it's like the light just kind of fades away, right? She just leaves your space because she's at 10 out of 10, right? So now after you do the BCR technique, you have spent time looking at this new version of your mom, okay? So she may still be very stubborn and very grumpy and very grouchy in that way, but you don't see her as that anymore. You've completely healed that. You've healed that impression of her because you're up here and you're bringing her up here with you. And so that probable body that you have created is now the certain body. That is how you see your mom, right? So now you're just acting all the time with that. She could be calling you up on the phone and grouching and complaining and whining, and you're just smiling and smiling and smiling because you remember what you did in the BCR technique to bring peace to that situation, okay? You are also completely at peace to letting your mom be who she is. If she's angry, if she's upset, if she's concerned, you don't see that because you're not living at that level anymore, right? When we have concern and we have harshness here, this is us here in this pit, okay? When we are doing BCR technique, we're lifting ourselves up here. We're past Mount Olympus, okay? That's how we're living. This is what we've been doing for the past 3 weeks plus now. Through the BCR technique, we're living up here. So your mom, Brad, my mom's such a grouch, and she just can't stop complaining about everything. She just bitches about everything, right? Well, what happens when you say that? You go back down in the dirt. Because that's what you're constantly like, oh, well, you just don't know my mom. She's just can't stop bitching about things, and she complains and she whines and she moans, and she's always telling me how to run my life and blah 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 blah. But what happens when we go back there? Boom, you're in the tar pit. Okay? You can't let it go. You're not healing your mom. You're healing the impression you have of your mom, right? If anything, you're learning how to forgive yourself here. Okay? You are not staying in the tar pit to say how much your mom bitches and moans and complains and how stubborn she is and how awful she is, and oh, she just keeps telling me to take the vaccine. I don't want to take the vaccine. She wants me to keep wearing a mask indoors when I'm inside my house, and oh, Brad, she's a nightmare. Okay? You're in the pit. As long as you're complaining about something, you're in the pit. The slime and the tar is covering you. Right? So if you want to continue to play with that, then that's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to be stagnant. You're going to be trudging along in mud, and you're not going to get anywhere because you are accepting these faults of your mom, and that's how you see her. It becomes a blame. She's doing this, and she's complaining, and she's whining, and she's unhappy, and she's this, and she's that. Right? It's no more different than doing this. This is what she's about, and this is how she is, and this is how it is. Blah, 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 this is how she treats me, and blah, blah, blah. Right? You're not able to let go of those traumas. You're not able to let go of those conflicts. But through you doing the BCR technique here for the past 3+ weeks, you're learning how to let go of those things. Because the only person you need to forgive is yourself. Right? It's not about forgiving anybody else. Everybody else is you. You're the only one here. Okay? So rather than putting yourself neck deep in tar and crap, right? Because you're constantly saying she's this and she's that, my dad's this and my dad's that, my brother's this, my brother's that, my best friend's this, my best friend's that. This is all you're doing. You're doing this constantly. It's not going to get you anywhere, right? You stay in the pit. You stay in the tar. You have to learn to let that go because you're up here when you're in the BCR technique, okay? When we are up here, when we are high on love, we are not bitching, we are not moaning, we're not complaining, we're not whining about all these things because that's you as a victim consciousness. And that is not where a victim belongs. A victim belongs down here in the crap pit. Okay? You're not in the crap pit. You're not in the tar pit. You're not in that pit of despair anymore. You're up here. I say this because I can sense some of you just saying that. Brad, you don't know what my parents like. My God. I can get that feeling from you guys. Okay? Believe me, I know what that's like. My dad was like that too as well. I forgave him long ago. I very much had a bully for a father. Right? That was my father. He was very much a bully. He was very much aggressive. He was very much stubborn. He was very much pig-headed. He was very bullheaded in that way. Do I have any animosity towards him? Not at all. I love him very, very dearly. Right? Back then, no. Hated his guts. But not anymore. Right? I made peace with everything that he represented. Okay? Because I realized what I was going through and how I was attracting somebody like that in my life. And then when I made that change, I could see, yes, I could see what my dad represented in that way. And I completely made peace with everything. He passed away in 2005, right? And I made complete peace with his passing. I can see him that he's actually in heaven. And he has a new partner up in heaven there, right? In the spirit world, working with a new partner, turning over a new leaf. It's a wonderful thing to say. And I just bless him along the way, okay? I had a bully father. I had a passive mother, right? Passive aggressiveness, okay? I had siblings who are also bullies at times as well too, right? No problem with any of them whatsoever. Have made peace with the entire family line, right? Have done ancestral healing, right? Healing a lot of that ancestry through the past as well too. This is what it takes when you are being this one who is doing the BCR technique constantly, right? You're being the bigger person. You're being the stronger person. You are putting all of this strength into yourself and you're illuminating this light within yourself. And now you're becoming humble. Okay? Goes back to what Jesus said. He who exalts himself will be humble, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Okay? Or she. That's the whole idea. Your greatness comes through your humility, and your humility comes through your greatness, right? That's what we're doing here in BCR. We are humbling ourselves because we are living through the heart. We are living through this strength, and we're not playing around in this cesspool, tar pit, crap pit that we call the victim consciousness, that we call the blame game, that we have to put finger pointing upon what our parents did. My brother was an a-hole. Right? And it's just like you're giving yourself a moment to let that out. If you have to take a moment to get that out, then do it, right? Go yell at a post. This is my brother and he's a piece of beep, right? And you're just yelling at the top of your lungs. He did this to me. He pulled a prank on me. He pulled my pants down in front of everybody one day. And he just started laughing. I wanted to kill him and I still couldn't kill him. And I wanted to kill him. Whatever it is. Okay, you have all these situations with that major player. Go scream it out at a post. Okay? If that's helping you before you do the BCR technique, then you go do it. Okay? But when you're doing the BCR technique, what do? We leave the ego at the door when we're going into our reinforcement space. There's no ego. This is why we're not doing this. Brad, you don't know what that major player did to me, right? And just wanting to blow up. There's no ego there. So we're not spontaneously combusting. Okay? So whatever it is, if you still have that animosity towards your mom, towards your dad, whatever it is, that's why you have your notepad. Okay? Let me just say, your book here. Okay? You're writing it down. Put everything there. If you have animosity towards any major player, you're putting it in here. You're writing it down. You're expressing yourself. Get it out of your system. Because when you go to BCR, you're not doing any of that garbage, right? You're not going into the tar pit and staying in the tar pit and staying as a victim consciousness because you're not going to be able to lift yourself up. You're just like this. My mom and my dad and my best friend, oh, they're assholes. Right? So we want to get out of that frame of mind. We want to get out of that basically immaturity. Stop being the victim, right? Start being the victor. Because now you're moving up here. You know how to do this. You've been doing this for 3 weeks. Okay? It's natural to you now. It should be natural to you now. So that's what I want to convey. Because the reason I bring this up so much is because that's such a common thing. I've gotten through thousands of sessions over the past 13 years. Brad, you have no idea. I apparently have no idea. What my mom was like, what my dad was like, and you're telling me you need to forgive it all? Bah! And here they are, right? So their mom and their dad are down here, and they're just on the same level. If you hold those grudges, you are not going beyond the tar pit. Some people say, oh, I just hopped over them, and I'm living my own life here in that sense. Well, you may have tried to hop over them, but really while you're trying to hop, you slip, and you just fall down on top of them. Okay? If you think that you've overcome them because you're trying to run away from a bully, you haven't. You're on the same level as to where they are as the aggressor. Okay? Because the whole idea is you being a victim consciousness is not the opposite of the bully, but its source. Okay? When you're a victim consciousness, you are a source for a bully to come in. That's why you brought forward with your parents, with your friends, with your major players, those kinds of people. Because you constantly saw yourself as the victim consciousness, as the victim here, and that is not the opposite of a bully, but that is its source. Right? As long as you play the victim, you'll have a bully in your life. I can guarantee you that. So when you're able to move above that, you're not playing that game anymore. You're becoming greater. You're becoming exalted. And to be exalted is to be humbled. To be humbled is to be exalted. Right? So you're moving up with this, and you're just giving love. Right? How do people move past bullies? How do people get past the whole bully situation? They don't feed them. Right? You could be standing right here, and then there's this guy just coming up to you, blah, 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 you're this and you're that thing. Oh, and this happened to you when you were a kid, blah, 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 blah. And this is all you're doing. You're just smiling at them. So say something. Say something. Say something. Bah, hell with this, I'm bored. And they leave. you beat the bully, right? All you're doing is giving a smiling face. All you're doing is keeping silent, okay? The bully has no ammunition because you are humbled. You are at peace. You stay silent. You stay still. Bully has no ammunition because they're trying to rile you up. They're trying to break you in the mind, right? But when you're just like this, right? You're not even moving a muscle. You're not even responding. Well, say something. Say something. Come on, damn it, do it. I just called you this and I called you that thing. But you're going to do anything? And you're just staying there, right? And you're just closing your eyes and you're saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. And, bored of this person. I'm getting out of here. Okay? The bully has no ammunition because you're not reacting. You see? That's how you defeat the bully. That's how all bullies are defeated. They need you to get riled up. They need you to react. They want to break you down. If you're not doing that, they have no ammunition and they have to move on, right? So that's what we're doing. If we have a major player in our life who's been a bully, we're keeping still. We're staying here in BCR. Our heart is filled with love. And we're just staying there. We're smiling. We're sending them love because we have created this version of that major player. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, etc. Okay? So that is it. That is what I wanted to share today about the life circle, okay? And how you're going to be working together with the major players when you start getting into this and as we do the demonstration tomorrow all together, okay? So let me go back to this screen here. So I'm going to go into questions here in just a moment. But again, this is why I wanted to bring all this up with you guys, right? Because it's something that is just very, very common. And like I said, when people even are doing the BCR technique, they get caught up with the misery because now they feel it's another self. It's one thing to work with your variance, right? Because you see that as yourself. What we don't see is that everybody else is us. There is only one consciousness, right? The appearance of consciousness exists all throughout creation, right? There is only one consciousness. That's why I talked about the one state, okay? So you are realizing now that your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, any major player within your life is you, okay? It's all through magnetics, it's all through attraction, it's all through vibration, it's all through frequency that you're bringing these type of people into your life, that you have the type of mom that you do, because that's what you came in with, right? You came in with, even as a baby, a victim consciousness, because that's going to be more apparent as you get older, right? You grow up with, again, a person who may be a bully, right? Because that's what you came in with. That's your mentality. That's what's going to reveal itself within the years ahead as you grow up. So again, we are always carrying certain emotional frequencies with ourselves when we come into the world. Okay, we can also inherit certain things, but we inherit those things because we are a magnetism in that, right? So if a mom and a dad are very, very aggressive with each other, the child most likely is going to be very, very aggressive, not because of heredity, but because of sympathetic resonance, okay? There is no heredity. Sympathetic resonance is what makes everything what it is, right? It's our environment. It's the people within that environment that we are therefore being influenced by. It's like a sponge, and we're soaking everything up, especially as a child. It's how we resemble your parents in that way because of the sympathetic resonance that's there. When you make peace with your parents and you no longer feel that you're carrying any bags of theirs whatsoever, your appearance is going to change, right? You may actually start to have different changes of appearance coming together. It even goes back to an old quote that the Apostle Paul once shared. He said, "Reckon ye self to be dead upon to sin and alive unto God," which means you're making your true heredity God. You're not going through the nature of sin representing victimization, representing convolution, pertaining to parents, to major players within your life. Because as you do, you wear their face. Okay? You are wearing the face of your woes and the people who you felt have done it to you by looking at yourself in the mirror. But when you clear all that up, all you now see is your true face. And that true face is the face of God. Right? So that is what we are doing. We are eliminating sin. We are eliminating trauma. We are eliminating hardship from our life so that when we look into our mirror, we see our face. We don't see the face of someone who betrayed us. We don't see the face of somebody who hurt us. We don't see the face of someone who we still have animosity towards. We still don't see the faces of people who we feel are the sinners in our life. Okay? We're clearing all of that up so that now only our face remains, right? It's like in psychological magazines where they talk about taking off masks, right? Here's the mask that my mom did to me. Here's the mask that my dad did to me, right? We're wearing all this quote-unquote sin. Reckon ye self to be dead unto sin and alive unto God. Okay, Apostle Paul. It's one of the things he shared. And that's profound. It's a wonderful thing to share. So that's what we're doing. We're taking off all of these masks. We're taking off all of this imprint of victimization consciousness, of being bullied, of being harassed, of being harmed, of being abused, of being the abuser. There may have been some people we've abused as well too. Okay? And we're clearing that out bit by bit, right? From the major players, and then we move into the minor players afterwards, right? We just keep them on the shelf. Okay? All right, everybody, let's go to questions now, if you guys have any questions on the chat. Okay. So there's a lot of people who are sharing that their mother or their father has transcended when they were younger. And again, I can relate to that, right? My father passed away in 2005, so well over 16 years ago. So yes, again, it doesn't really look like there's any questions coming up here. I think you guys are getting it, right? I don't have to go too much into, resolving certain questions for you guys. But if you do have questions, like I said, if it's not on the chat, you can always go to the Telegram group and feel free to post questions here. You guys are sharp, so you know what I'm talking about there. So, and people are saying, okay, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. Yeah, so you're forgiving yourself for reacting. This is from Allison. So you're forgiving yourself for reacting to them, okay? You're forgiving yourself, period. That's the whole idea, okay? You're not seeing, like I said, it's like the example I gave with your mom. She's grumpy, she's cranky, she's all this, she's all that. Okay, as soon as we do this, we're on her level, okay? As soon as you react to a bully, you're on their level. You're not above them, okay? If you feel victimized by a bully, you are both simpatico with the same vibration, because it takes a victim to attract a bully. It takes a victim to bring a bully into your life, right? It takes a bully to attract a victim. So it takes a bully to attract a victim, takes a victim to attract a bully, right? They are one in the same. There's the passive and the aggressive, right? But what about the neutralizer? The neutralizer in the middle eliminates both. And that comes through humility. That comes through love. So what's being shared here, Allison? Everything is about you forgiving yourself. There's nobody outside of you to forgive. Everything in the outside world is an effect. It's a projection. Okay? You are your mother. You are your father. You are your brother. You are your sister. And from where they exist, right, you're their child or you're their sibling in that way. But the whole idea is that you're not looking from their perspective. You're not looking from them as an observer, because you can't. There's only one observer, and there's you. Right? You can't imagine what another person is going through through observation, because you've never experienced that. You will only ever know yourself to be an observer. Okay, so this is what we're saying, is that the forgiveness only ever comes through you. It can say, oh, I can forgive my dad for doing what he's doing. Well, who are you forgiving? Who are you pointing to? Who's this? That's a projection. That's a person holographically that you have manifested into your life. That soul, yes, but you have manifested them together in your life to basically show you where you're still at. It's a gauge, okay? People are gauges. Events are gauges. They're letting you know about the type of people that you're bringing into your life, because this is how you still see yourself, because you're still wearing certain masks. Okay? Be dead unto sin and alive unto God. So what that means is that you're filling your heart. You're going all the way up to God. by being that love, by being that compassion, by being that joy, by being that bliss. Who's doing that? Yourself. There's nobody else here to do it. I can't do it for you guys. Okay? You have to do it. The only person you ever have to forgive is yourself. There's nobody else here to forgive. Okay? So when you have animosity, it's because you have this feeling within yourself. I have that animosity towards that person. That person does not have animosity by themselves. Because if that was so, I wouldn't be able to see them. Right? If it was nothing that involved me, they would not be in my reality. But because I have animosity towards that person, that is something that is clogging my internal system here, right? It's a cancer. It's a pollutant. It's tar. It's that conflict. It's that sin, right? So I have to clean that out, which means I have to liberate myself because I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself based upon how I have imprinted a misnomer upon another person. How I have thrown sticks and stones at that person because, oh, they're a bully and they're this and they're that horrible thing, etc., etc. But I'm a victim. So even though I feel that bully is throwing stones at me, I'm really just throwing stones at that bully because I have to wear this mask of victim consciousness. And I'm no better than the bully. Because as long as there's a bully, there's a victim. As long as there's a victim, there's a bully. See, they're left and right. It's like your Democrats and your Republicans. Okay, it's a left and right. None of them are going to be in harmony. It's the neutral ground. It's the center. That's where we're going to when we're doing BCR technique. We are in the silver lining. We're in the center. We are neutral. So we're filling ourselves with love. I am no longer a bully or a victim. I simply am. And now we make peace with everything because that's what love does. You fill yourself with love. You know this, right? You guys been working on yourselves. You guys been working on your variants. Okay, you know this. You know what love does to you. And that's all we're doing with the people in our life. The major players. The life circle participants. Okay? We're creating this new body. We're creating this new impression of them. Where we're able to see their heart. Right? So when you're filling your mom with that love energy, as I'll demonstrate tomorrow, you're going to look into her heart. You're going to look into her eyes. And you're going to see, oh my goodness, I was the one that made her the way that I've seen her. And now I'm deciding to see her in this new way. Same with my dad. Same with my siblings. Same with my grandparents, etc. You're seeing them in light. You're not seeing them in darkness. Right? So you're illuminating them. So once you have completely made that peace, and they're 10 out of 10, they're at Mount Olympus with you, okay, you send them back, not to a timeline, you just send them back, and now you're completely at peace with my mom. So I'm completely at peace with her, right? She could call me on the phone and say, that's fine, Mom, that's great, I love you, I love you, I love you. What? You're saying you love me? Right? You're seeing her as that person, because that animosity isn't there anymore. It's all been burned away. And we're not looking to bring in new animosity towards a situation because we spent all this time healing it. It's burned. Remember, like I said, with the harmonizing heat of love melting away the ice cubes of conflict. Well, that's what we've done. We've melted away all of that conflict, and all that remains is that harmony between yourself and the major player. And so that's how you're living your life. You're no longer concerned about that. I've made peace with my mom. She's alive and well today, and she's doing her life as she is. I'm not putting any form of judgment. I'm not saying she's alive today, but this is what she's doing. We get out of that. Okay? We don't say, oh, she's cranky, or she's complaining, or she's whining, or she's bitchy, and she's moany. We go back into the tar pit. My mom is alive and well, and she's here. And we talk. And all is well. Great. Now you get it. Now you understand. You're not labeling her. Because that's what you're creating here through a probable body to bring into a certain body. You're seeing her completely in harmony, despite the past behaviors that you've had with each other. Okay? Completely at peace with her. We talk, we're good, everything's well. That's it. So I am seeing my mother as that body that I'm creating in my reinforcement space. That's her. Same with my dad. Same with all major players in my life, right? We're going to go over this tomorrow. But that's basically what's being said. You only need forgive yourself. There's nobody else to forgive, okay? This is, again, the deep realization of it all. There is only ever you. There is nobody else. You guys are just looking at a hologram of me on a screen, okay? I'm not here. You're not here in my reality, right? You're projections. You're holograms. We're having interactions in this plane, in the body-mind plane, and it's great interactions, by the way, okay? But really, everything is one. There is the one state. There is the one consciousness. Everybody is the one consciousness, right? So it's just us talking to ourselves as one. That's the nature of it all, okay? So Vicky says, this is so important. Just healing my relationship with my mom is huge. Control, judgments. I have been working on healing with mom for so long. Well, that's the problem. Because here's the idea, is that when you think that you're working on somebody for so long, you think that they have all the problems and you don't. And that's where you're flawed. That's where you're fractured. It is the both of you, right? It's the idea that here's somebody who's the aggressive, and here I am as the passive. So both of you are creating this resonance, right? And it's a disharmonious resonance. People think, oh, this person is doing this. I'm completely innocent. This person did that. As soon as you point a finger, you're a victim. As soon as you point a finger, you're a victim. You are on the same level as that aggressor. You are no better than they. Okay? Because you're playing with that game. Here I am constantly being victimized and constantly being hurt and blah, 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 blah. Hurt, 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 hurt. Passive, aggressive. They are not opposites, but they are sources of one another. They are both extremes, okay? Because you think that you're a victim does not mean that you are overcoming the bully. Rather, you're his meal ticket, okay? You're the meal ticket for the bully, okay? And you live in that because you want to get sympathy from others. That's not going to help you. That's still you staying in the tar. You're in the crap pit, okay? You being a victim is not remedying the situation. You playing a blame game, you pointing a finger at another person is not remedying the situation. You're feeding it. You're the meal ticket. Okay? So this is why we're taking ourselves out of that equation. I am the one that I have to forgive. And all of my components, all of my holograms, all of my relationships of these people in my life all come from me because I'm the attractor. I'm the magnetic. I'm the frequency generator here. I'm bringing in these types of people. When I feel like everything is wrong with the world, which we're going to get into as well too, healing the environment, right? Healing the earth. When I see the governments doing this, when I see politicians doing that, here I am again pointing the finger at all of these people. And as long as I'm afraid of them, then I'm their meal ticket. Okay? We do not want to be a meal ticket. We do not want to constantly think that we're the victim. If you constantly think that you're the victim, you're not going to get out of this. You're going to be wrestling in a tar pit with who you feel the aggressor is for eternity. And this is what has happened to us. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We have wrestled with the aggressor. Right? Some of us are even the aggressors. And even the aggressors think they're the victims. Okay? Everybody thinks that they're the victims. They don't want to be, oh, I'm a bully. I'm sure I'll bully the hell out of anybody. No one's really going to admit that. Hardly anybody, I would say. Okay? We all think we're the victim, but we don't know how aggressive we become when we see that aggressor. We have that mortal enemy, right? We have rivals, and we have to slay them. We have to slay them emotionally about what's happening here. Okay? That is going to be a never-ending battle. It'll go on for eternity, lifetime after lifetime. Because you are withdrawing from love and you're going into separate self-consciousness and into ego. The victim and the bully are one and the same. They are opposite extremes, but they're one and the same. Okay? Do you guys get it now? We're going to be talking about this more in the demonstration tomorrow. So it's just important to say, in summary, guys, you only ever have to forgive yourself. That's it. There's nobody else here to forgive. Just you. And everything that you have been putting out relating to those emotional conflicts and traumas. That's what we're healing. That's what we're doing here in BCR. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. So I will see you again tomorrow. This week, I'm going back to sessions. Okay, so I've been taking the month of September off from sessions to do other work, but I'm coming back into sessions tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to start our broadcast tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, it'll be about a half hour long. Okay, because I do have to do sessions an hour afterwards. So again, 10 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be doing a short demonstration of the BCR technique, talking about just this, the life circles, the major players, and working with the healing through them when we go into the reinforcement space. Okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you tomorrow for the next episode, day number 24 of the 30-day BCR Technique Challenge. Remember to, again, check out the video description, video playlist. The PDFs are there to help you out, again, if you're just beginning. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, and talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.